Afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Senate Transportation. Senator Gendro, will you do the honors for leading us in the pledge?
Happy to.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, Senator Birdsdale. We will now open the public hearing on Senate Bill 430.
Thank you, committee. Thank you, Madam Chair, for hearing Senate Bill 430. Senate Bill 430 was a request, and this bill establishes a commission to study the impacts of electric vehicles, lithium-ion batteries, and e-mobility devices on first responders' response, the environment, building and fire codes, and life and safety property protection. There have been some concerns in some of the meetings that I've been to with regards to how the first responders are going to respond to some of these incidents that are happening with the EVs, and nothing is written in stone at this point. So I'm sure there are going to be people behind me that are a little bit more knowledgeable and they can share their concerns, but I will entertain any questions. Oh, for the record, my name is Regina Birdsell, State Senator for District 19, the towns of Hampstead, Windham, and Derry.
Thank you, Senator Birdsdale. Are there any questions? Senator Waters.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chairman. Thanks for bringing this forward. We'll see, but on the line 11, the notwithstanding RSA 1449, do you think that that's going to fly in the House, or do you have any sense? I mean, this references the provision that said that all future commissions have to have a majority of legislators, so that's why that notwithstanding is there. And
Which page? 2?
on line 11, first page of the bill.
Notwithstanding RSA 1449, the members of the commission shall be as follows. One member of the Senate.
Yeah, because it's that statute was the one that they put in a couple of years ago, saying that every commission in future had to have a majority of legislators. And I just don't know if you have any sense of what might happen about that.
A commission?
Yeah, it's the new law.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
Well,
we'll see, but I just know if you had any. I mean, having put that in there, I didn't know if you had any sense that that would be a way to fly.
we don't have enough legislators to have a majority on a commission.
There you have it. But it's in statute. It has been for 2
We
years.
can amend this.
We'll see.
let's
I
wait
don't
and
know,
see.
Maybe we can check with House Transportation if that's where it would
Fair
go,
enough.
but maybe it wouldn't. Maybe we'll go to EDA. I don't know. But we'll see. I would hope this will work, but I just want to give a heads up.
What I can do is I can connect with the chair of ED&A in the House and get her thoughts on it.
As I Madam Chair, since that passed, one thing I've been doing is setting up advisory groups or councils that don't have any legislators and let them go do their work. But so either way,
Okay.
we'll do what, if you think we should make any changes, otherwise we'll just send it to the House, see what happens.
Either way, we need to have the work done. So whether the legislators are on it or not, I think the group that we have put together will do a good job on studying the issue.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you very much, Senator Birdsdale.
Thank you.
And the chair will recognize Sean Toomey. Thank you so much. I knew he had it ready. He's good.
Good afternoon. I'm Sean Toomey, the State Fire Marshal, for the record. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. That put a little twist in it, Senator Waters, on that commission part. I didn't realize that myself. My office and safety in general have been following the EVs and e-mobility device issues for the last probably 2 years now. But over the summer, we established a sort of informal stakeholder group, which is largely made up of many of the members that are identified in the proposed legislation. We did add a couple insurance commissioner, obviously hopefully some legislative reps to formalize it. But what we're doing is essentially asking the legislature to formalize the group that we started, to do some research and bring something back to you all to help make informed decisions on the EV and the battery issues that are facing us in the state and nationally. The fires involving batteries in electric vehicles are a growing fire safety concern. The occurrences are increasing as more and more are on the road. I think there's a lot of concern in different ways. Like there's very much a fear-based concern, which I think we're trying to alleviate, but we need to educate on the proper response for the fire response, and then also just general safety for citizens. Senator Waters, your bill, I think last week that we talked about with the e-mobility devices and trying to get them listed is a great step. UWells and many others established a campaign, Take Charge, over in November to really educate consumers on the smaller devices, and identifying certified products is one thing. And we've kind of followed in our office educational campaign to follow that model. But on the vehicle part of it, we're still learning a lot. There's studies by the International Code Council, NFPA from the fire's perspective, and then the Fire Safety Research Institute by UL, or it used to be Underwriters Labs. So there's a lot coming out nationally. We have a lot to learn. I think this group would be a great step in bringing a bunch of the state agencies together to work together, some outside agencies of fire chiefs, the tow groups, the auto dealers, and all of us can work together to bring you guys a package so we can make better decisions for our codes, our laws, and really to protect the citizens. So ask you to support the bill, and happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the committee? Senator Gendro?
Thank you for being here. It's good to see you again. A couple of things that maybe you can clarify for me, and I know you guys are still doing a lot of research on it. And some of the research I've done, electric cars are 4 times more likely to catch fire than gasoline ones. Is that remotely true, or?
We're having trouble validating a lot of that data, and that's one of the
Okay.
biggest problems. We just sort of launched a soft way of trying to collect fire data in New Hampshire, because our national data system doesn't collect good data. So we have a little over 400 vehicle fires a year, and we think we might have had 2 electric vehicle fires in New Hampshire. We have I think upwards almost 10,000 EVs on the road, and roughly in New Hampshire. Don't quote me exactly, but I think it's close. But we've heard a lot of information about people more prone to die in electric vehicle fires, but we can't find that data, and that's one of the biggest concerns, I think, as we really dive into this, is really find good data to make informed decisions. So I think my caution would be just be careful where you get the data and where it comes from.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, just follow up? Of course. Thank you. And then just the other thing that, of course, an electric fire is a lot different than a regular fire. And then because of the battery cells, there's over 7,000 battery cells in an electric vehicle, and it can take 3 to 5 hours for an electric vehicle to burn out. Is that remotely possible?
So when a battery, whether it's EV or smaller devices, when they do catch fire, they typically burn quicker, and they reach a peak heat release, like the intensity of it, which would say much faster, and they burn much longer, because the batteries really need to burn off, is what we're learning. And in a lot of cases, especially with the cars, they're in sealed compartments to protect them, and it's very difficult for us to get to them, if not impossible. And so it takes a very long time to put them off and put them out and you got to stop the thermal runaway that's happening, and it's almost impossible, almost. So that they are a bit of a challenge, but I think the approach that we're starting to take is let the vehicles burn when we can, when it's safe to do so. I think that we're starting to switch a little bit. The smaller devices that are in our homes are a little bit bigger concern, because we're putting them in our bedrooms, our living rooms, and in our hallways of apartment buildings to charge them and things like that, and may block our ways to get out. So we got to figure that out. The car one that's probably the biggest concern is in parking garages below a residential space, And is that garage suitable for, protecting the residents above? So we're studying all that. We just don't have great answers right now. And that's really, I think, why we're asking for this, formalize this study, I guess, advisory, whatever direction we need to go. But I think formalize what we've started.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just, it makes sense to have a commission because then you can vet out the best way to go about everything. Any other questions or comments, Senator Waters?
Madam Chair. Let me start off by, thanking you so much for your work and your leadership on these issues. For information of the committee, we had a study committee in the House last year that I was on, looking at the issue of rental vehicle charging, and it got into a lot of these issues about fires and a lot of helpful information you provided and so on. The fire marshal referenced the bill that Commerce passed last week about making sure we have appropriate certification of electric bike batteries and consumer protections around them. So anyways, that's what he was referencing. So I had one question on the wording here, lines 5 and 6. Now, I'm wondering whether it would be better to have it electric vehicles, e-mobility devices, and the associated lithium-ion batteries, because when you later in the bill, when it talks about impacts to the environment, I had legislation a number of years ago that looked at the issue of lithium-ion batteries in vaping cartridges, because they were starting to cause some problems of fires at recycling facilities. So I just don't think you want to be chasing down every single lithium-ion battery in every single, where it is,
Right.
vaping cartridge or whatever. So I mean, I don't think you want to get into all the environmental issues and landfill issues on this. So would it make sense? I mean, you really want to get out the ones that are in vehicles, right?
So I'm comfortable with that. That it's the vehicles and the e-mobility devices. I think that we're really focused on. I know there's another bill that's talking about proper disposal, recycling of batteries coming up this session. But I think we could go down a rabbit hole for sure. But I think we can. I'm happy with the idea of focusing on the vehicles and e-mobility devices.
And if I may, one follow-up.
Of course.
Just to have on the record, I would assume that if we phrased it that way, of electric vehicles and e-mobility devices and associated lithium batteries, that you would also be free to study other battery types that are coming down the road. We've got the iron batteries, we've got the sulfur batteries.
Sure.
Some of which will have no fire potential at all, but as I think next year we're going to see the solid states
That's my
in
understanding as
some
well.
major auto dealer lines. So, I mean, I guess as much for the committee, I think that under the phrasing here, that if other kinds of batteries, lithium-ion batteries, are ones you want to take a look at, you could.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, the only comment on the environment part of it is that there's been a lot of conversation of, do you let it burn? What does that do to the air?
All right.
You
Right.
put tens of thousands of gallons of water on it. What does that do to the runoff? And do we have? I think that's the environmental side
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
There's some DES reps behind me, but from that in my head, that's where from the fire service, we're trying to think about which is the best of both evils, I guess, right? Where it's gonna, if it burns, is it water, air, or other that we need to focus or think about?
But not vape cartridges.
Not vape cartridges, not what we were thinking about. No,
Thank you.
thank you,
Anyone else? Thank you so much for your testimony.
thank you.
Chair will now recognize Mike Fitzgerald. Good afternoon. Welcome.
My name is Mike Fitzgerald. I'm the Assistant Director of the Air Resources Division at the Department of Environmental Services. We generally don't take positions on legislative commissions. We believe that's the purview of the legislature to decide whether they want to have a commission or not. However, I do want to fully support the remarks of Fire Marshal Toomey. And I just want to bring one issue to your attention. We certainly believe that there are a number of issues here that are worthy of study. We are named to the commission. We would certainly be more than willing to serve and participate in those. I also wanted to raise the fact that in the House of Representatives, there are currently 4 pieces of legislation that would, actually 5, that would deal with EV issues, up to including banning state government from purchasing EVs, and relative prohibition of government procurement of EVs containing components created through the use of forced labor. We don't disagree that any of these are issues that need to be considered, but I would just ask you to think about possibility that these bills, when they come to you, might be considered for interim study and in lieu of this commission, and allow this commission to do its work before taking drastic steps such as banning state government purchase. Our agency has multiple electric vehicles. We convene a state agency group that meets regularly. We have the Volkswagen Mitigation Trust that allows for the purchase of EVs. Manufacturers and the car dealers are here, so I'll leave this issue to them, but manufacturers have invested billions of dollars in EVs, and we just think these issues need to be studied and better understood before the legislature steps in. These are also national issues. They're not just New Hampshire issues. And as the fire marshal represented, there are a number of national studies going on. We think it would be best to avail ourselves of that kind of information over the next year or two as those become available before taking any legislative approach. So I'd appreciate it if you can give that some consideration. And with that, I'd be more than willing to take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from anyone? No? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Are there any other members of the public that would like to speak to Senate Bill 430? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the hearing on Senate Bill 430. And we can open up the hearing on Senate Bill 582. I have to go over there. 582. Okay. Sorry, let me hit you with the chair. Good afternoon. For the record, I'm Denise Ricciardi, the state senator for District 9, encompassing 13 towns from Bedford up to Hinsdale and a lot in between. I was asked to present this for the department, so I'm sure that they will be here to answer your questions if you have any. But this is Senate Bill 82 is several years ago when the DMV implemented temporary licenses and the process of mailing the permanent license. They recognized the amount of New Hampshire residents that were out of state during or around the renewal time. Many were snowbirds going south for the winter months or students away at college. Internally, they implemented a process where these applicants could fill out a temporary away form with their out-of-state information as well as the reason they would be out of state to have their New Hampshire license or ID mailed to that out-of-state license. This form was eventually assigned a form number DSMV594 and began to be used in all bureaus for any DMV document that was applied for and needed to be mailed while the applicant was away. The examples are titles and boat registrations. The only exception to this has always been the original first-time license or ID card obtained in New Hampshire, as mailing the original credential to a New Hampshire address is an important part of confirming residency in the state. Under new administration, it was recognized that the temporarily away process is not defined in statute. The DMV believes this process is beneficial to the residents of the state and wants to formalize the process in statute. The DMV will then further define the form used and information requested on through administrative rulemaking. So if you have any questions, I would defer to the
Any questions from
department.
members of the committee? Thank you.
Okay,
And we have next Jen Bailey from DMV. Welcome, Jen. Welcome, Jen.
Morning. So, as stated, I'm Jen Bailey. I work for the Division of Motor Vehicles, and not much more I can provide you from what Senator Ricciardi just provided. But this form has been used for several years when we implemented the temporary license, and then we mailed the permanent one. We know many people leave the state after processing, or they're away while their renewal or documents are being processed. So this was a process that we developed. And again, as she stated, it was never formally put into statute. So this is us trying to do a cleanup bill to now put that process in statute. We believe that it is beneficial to the public, and we would be appreciated with this help with this bill. Any questions?
Any questions from members of the committee? Seeing none, thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
And does anybody wish to speak on 582 that hasn't? Well, I'll close the hearing. That was quick.
good job. Okay,
Would you like us to exec it? We're all here.
that would be good.
Yeah, I'll move exec session.
Second?
You can ask all in favor.
Oh,
You're
all-
here.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll move 582 ought to pass.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye. Second.
All those in favor of consent?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I make a
You'll
motion.
take it out, right?
I'll take it
Yeah,
out.
okay.
And there's nothing else we can do right now.
Not right now.
So
Okay, yeah.
I make the motion that we come out of executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Yours is at 1:30 and I have to leave. to
That's all right.
testify. Is that okay?
We'll let Ruth take the gavel and we'll be good.
All right, and then if I'm not back, there's the little talking
All
point.
right, thank you. Great.
All right, we can't start.
All right.
So I'll head over then if that's okay.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
It's good. We're getting it done. I'll talk to Regina. I think we ought to make this a council and just forget about the senators and reps on it.
Yeah, as long
On
as
the,
the work,
on the lithium ion, I mean, on the EV stuff. Yeah, just let the agency go do their work. And I just think the House might be a stickler on this stuff about the majority of Senate members
the important thing is the
or
work. gets done.
legislators, yeah. So it's good.
All right, well,
I'll see about an amendment on it, and on that little wording change.
and at some point we should talk about some of the other ones. We've got-
Oh, I know. I mean, they're really,
Yeah, we have
it's
to do,
crazy.
yeah, we have to do.
But his advice was good. If we got this, we can have a reason to just
afternoon, we now have the Senate Bill 469, and Mr. David. Senator Waters is here to introduce the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and this is Senate Bill 469, which would allow surveillance of a park and ride facility in certain circumstances, and this is a request of the department. And you will see that what it does, if you happen to look at RSA 236-130, highway video surveillance, it has a whole series of privacy protections. But there are some exemptions, and what this bill wants to do is extend this exemption of the outlawing of this surveillance to park and ride facilities that are leased, and the private legal entity is authorized to conduct surveillance for the safety of the premises and users of the facility. So that's what it'll do, and I think you can understand, we'll hear some more about the practical implication of this. So these people who run these park and ride and parking lot facilities, and I think particularly of some of the bus companies like C&J, would have some safety controls over that, and also to be able to monitoring whether people are abusing the facility by parking there long term when they should not be. So I will leave the further discussion and questions of it to the department. Thank you.
Any questions from committee members? Seeing none, thank you very much. Michelle Winters. Welcome.
Thank you for having me on this beautiful day.
I know.
It's a nice drive down. For the record, my name is Michelle Shelley Winters. I'm the Director of Aeronautics, Rail, and Transit at the Department of Transportation. We're in favor of this, as Senator Waters explained. A lot of the bus terminals and park and ride lots identified in the current statute are operated by private bus companies who have been in the transportation industry in the bus sector for decades. We're looking to find a way, when someone stands in the state's shoes and has a long-term agreement or lease, to be able to manage the security and surveillance there like they would any other private facility, for the better protection of the users of the facility, for their employees, and for the state infrastructure of which they're standing in our shoes and maintaining. So really looking to allow them to store the video longer, allow access from local police to go straight to the facility operator instead of through the department, and to let them have the access to the images on site for a quicker response to things that may happen, whether it's vehicles being there longer, slips and falls, police looking to try to identify somebody for a safety sensitive issue. So we feel like allowing them to do that on site would be better than the current situation right now. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions from committee members? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else who would like to speak to SB 469? Seeing none, that ends the hearing on Senate Bill 469. You want to do a quick executive?
Well, let's wait. I mean, we might as well wait till
Oh,
we're
okay.
all here so we can.
Oh,
no
that's
hurry
right, so
on it.
that we end up at
I
5.
think-
Yeah,
I think
okay.
Maybe Denise will be back, so I guess we'll just recess.
So we have to wait until 1:15. 1:45.
Want to do a committee amendment for it, or?
Which one?
469?
No, for, yeah,
Which one?
the surveillance one.
Oh, there's an amendment?
I was told there was an amendment. I was assuming Cam sent it before I took over last week. I haven't heard anything back from OLS yet.
Oh, let's wait then, sorry.
Okay,
Let me
withdraw
take a
your
look.
motion.
Yeah, let me just take a look and see if, I just don't, with Cam out, I don't remember getting that one, but I'll search.
I saw an email today.
What's that?
I saw an email regarding that today.
Oh, well, excuse me.
I mean, just scan them. 429.
469.
No, I'm looking at the next, I'm ahead of you over here on
Oh.
the next one.
I don't see
Let
anything.
me see if I can find it.
Oh, I see it from this morning. Well, Shelley, do you have an amendment or? I didn't find it in my email. Do you have it with you? Is this what it is? Maybe I have it, or leasing or otherwise operating on behalf of the department? Well, if I give this to you, we could do a committee amendment, so why don't we finish it? Here's what it is, just to,
I saw it this morning, I just didn't, yeah.
yeah.
Let's,
So that just, the lease is not a completely effective word, so why don't I just give this?
can you do that?
Yeah, so, we're still in executive session?
Yes.
Okay, I move, Senate Bill 469,
A second?
and I will move a committee amendment, which will add, after the word leasing, or otherwise operating on behalf of the department. And then the next time that there's the word lease, it adds or agreement. If you look at the bill. We don't need it, Jeff. I mean, well, you will eventually get it from the package, but we could vote on that.
Yeah, you just need the wording for your notes. Your
Yeah. So I'll move that amendment, Madam Chair.
And I second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll move, ought to pass as amended.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I'll move consent.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And will you want to take it out?
Sure, and Sophie, I just sent it to you, the language,
When
okay?
Senator Waters will take it out. And then I move we come out of executive session.
Is there gonna be an addendum calendar for Thursday, or are we just gonna do what they've got? Are they gonna? Pardon?
Only for morning committees,
Okay,
not for us.
all right, well, at least we're done with it.
So, could I have a second to come out of executive?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Now, let's check the time. Oh, we have to wait for 1:45. We're ahead and the other people are behind.
This morning, I had 4 bills scheduled for the same time, 2 different buildings, 2 committees. But the schedules they were delayed in various committees, so it worked out.
So it worked out. But when I got there, they said, "Oh my God, there's 4 bills before you."
Yeah.
I was hoping to get out of here with the
Oh, you
weather.
want to get out of here too,
Because
right?
the weather, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I know.
429, I guess I can testify to that since
Yep.
I'm back.
Yep.
You have the paper? Yeah, you're going where I was, and you're ahead of, yeah.
Doing the big work.
Do you have my talking points? For 429? They get buried.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what?
You can open the hearing when it's time. I'm afraid to schedule them closer together.
Oh, no, you did just right, because
Okay.
you never know, you know. But we're making progress. This
Yeah,
is good.
well, if we get done early, they can use her in another committee, and then it frees us up.
And I don't, I guess Jeb's not gonna let us know until, for a little while, but maybe we won't meet on Tuesday because of the primary.
Oh,
Next
some of the
week.
committees aren't, because they have, Commerce got canceled because they
Right.
have duties
And
for the primary.
finance is gonna meet on Tuesday when some other committees might have, so I just don't know what they're gonna do.
Oh, well, can't we decide ourselves? Do you need to be off on Tuesday? Because
Well, I just assume do some primary stuff, but I mean, it's Jeb's call, so I
it
think,
is.
pardon?
It is. I think Senator Gannon made the decision himself.
Oh, well, all right. I mean, I don't care what, I mean, if I have to be here, I'll be here, but I would go to polls.
Okay, well, we're in good shape in our committee. If so,
Well,
I don't have to come for
You can
Commerce.
talk to, you
Yeah.
can talk to Jeb. But again, I'll do whatever people want to do, but I think we're in pretty good shape, and if we don't meet,
I'm fine with that.
I mean, I was talking to Kevin this morning, he didn't know what the plan was, and they still don't know from upstairs.
Well, like I said, Senator Gannon canceled Commerce on his own.
Yeah,
He didn't discuss it.
what?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
You're gonna let me know when they ready for me. You're supposed to let me know when they're ready for me. Grant's gonna text you. Oh, he didn't tell you. Okay. All right. Well, we'll probably be done before you call me.
Well, my 6 o'clock meeting was just canceled, so that's good.
I really wish I didn't drive. If my husband didn't go into work today, he would have dropped me off and picked me up. You keep it. It's my bill.
You want your mic?
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, I am not gonna be going to the Greater Barrington Chamber of Commerce at 4. I'm going home. And then my only meeting after that is Zoom, so. Well, my clock says 1:45, so I will open the hearing on Senate Bill 429 and invite the prime sponsor, Senator.
Thank you, Senator Waters. For the record, Denise Ricciardi, State Senator for District 9. It encompasses 13 towns from Bedford all the way up to Hinsdale. On Senate Bill 429, this is the Governor's Council plates. The bill would allow executive council plates to be printed with blue numbers and letters on a white background exclusively, as it has previously been the case for many years. However, during the legislative plate production and issuance that occurred in 2023, the DMV followed the state law RSA 261:90, which requires all legislative plates to be printed with green or red numbering and letters, which should alternate every biennium. And I'll take any questions if you have any.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Jen is back here on behalf of Director Mosto. Welcome.
Good afternoon again. My name is Jen Bailey. I'm here on behalf of Director Marasco. He's upstairs in transportation right now. So this bill, again, is kind of a cleanup one. As discussed, we have always issued these plates in blue and white, and then last year we followed what was actually written in legislature, and that was a different color. We want to go back to how we issued them prior, so reversing back to how we've always done it and putting that in statute. And that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from the committee? Thank you. And Megan Rose is here for Executive Counselor Wheeler. Welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Megan Rose, and I'm here on behalf of Executive Council Wheeler, who is en route, but I believe being delayed by the snow. So, that being said, I have worked for the Executive Council since in the full-time position since 2018, and I've been a state government employee for the better part of 20 years, and worked for the council part-time in 2011 through 2013, in which all of those times the plates were blue. Until last year, like she said, and there was a little bit of a snafu with the license plate, and so that made us all kind of take a look at it, and then we noted the color was different, and then that caused a deep dive into the statute and was like, oh, we should probably address this. So that is why we're here. Counselor Wheeler kind of spearheaded that to kind of put things back to the way that they had been and make sure that it was right in the statute. So if there's anything I can say in addition to that or answer any questions, I'm happy to do so.
And as we have learned, the counselor wants its white and blue, doesn't it?
They do
They
like
really
the,
do.
you know, they really do like the white and blue. And to be honest, after seeing it that way for so many years, when you see it different, it's like,
Just
oh,
wrong, just wrong.
it just
Can't
doesn't
be,
look
can't
right.
be.
So
Thank you very much. Any questions from the committee?
Just so we're only talking about 5 plates.
yes,
Mhm.
correct.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Executive council gets what it wants.
Specific plates 1 through 5 even. So
Well, thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Any member of the public want to speak who hasn't spoken? I will close the hearing on 421, 429, and do you want to do an exec?
Yeah, might as well.
Go ahead.
I'd like to open a meeting for executive session. Could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to, ought to pass on Senate Bill 429.
I move. Ought to pass.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh,
I think Senator Ward seconded.
Yeah. all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we can't do consent because Senator Fenton's not here.
Yeah, so I mean, and who knows when I'll be back, so why don't,
All right, so I don't think there's anything else for now, so
you're gonna take it out?
I'll take it out. And then I look for a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. We are out of executive session.
One
and
more.
We have, we will take a recess until 2 o'clock. Can't really do anything. You can text them to turn around.
Getting it done. So, sounds like we're gonna have Nikki Haley on Thursday.
All those in favor? Aye.
I'd like to move consent.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I assume you will still take it out.
I will still take it out.
See how essential you are, Senator?
You know what?
Uh,
I can think about it.
And like a motion now to come back out of executive session.
I moved.
All those in favor to come out of executive session?
Aye.
Aye. We will still remain in recess until 2. Oh, well.
So, once you got there, they were happy to get rid of you, huh?
They were, yes. I think they didn't understand how far back.
Yep. Yeah.
You were quick, though.
Yeah, no questions asked of me. I just didn't know, so. All right. I'm okay with that. And I walk very fast as well.
Yeah, I do too.
We got the steps today, that's for sure.
That's good, because usually we sit too much, but
Yes.
I'll probably finish before I have to go testify now.
And then you can just get out of here once you're done over there, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, when is this supposed to stop?
I don't know, but I'm very nervous. I might just leave my car here and ask my husband to come get me.
I mean, it's not a real heavy snow, but it's persistent, and I bet there's maybe 3 inches out there.
We got two groups, we're okay. We'll be fine. What else do you want? Exactly.
Yeah. I seconded. Mhm. If we go too fast, just let me know. We can slow down.
Oh, no, it's okay. I just wasn't sure if I had to write it.
I'm actually going to pass this to you because it's my bill again.
Oh, it's yours? Okay.
Yeah, I had a lot of them today.
No, I guess. Well,
Again, these
getting
were,
them done.
well, department things. I'm going to go over there because I want to ask Daly a question anyway. Oh, sure. Of course.
That was good. Just have to- just go- I can't really see out of them. I'll open the hearing on Senate Bill 581 and invite the prime sponsor, Senator Rishardi.
Thank you, Senator Waters. Senate Bill 581 is on temporary licenses. The Department of Motor Vehicles has issued temporary credentials at the counter for several years for every type of licensing or identification card transaction. Your permanent credential is then mailed to the mailing address you have on file with the department. In addition, the DMV implemented an online renewal process which allows a New Hampshire resident to renew their license or ID card online every other 5-year cycle with a special RIN number that is mailed to them 90 to 120 days prior to their renewal date. While the temporary credentials issued at the counter have the appearance of an actual license printed on paper and is recognized as a valid license to drive, the ones issued when you renew online are only considered a temporary proof of license. The printout provided is only a receipt with the applicant's name, license number, issue date, expiration date of their previous license, class of license, and any endorsements or restrictions. It does not have a photo, address, or any demographic information listed. The intent of this temporary proof was that it is to be used in conjunction with their current or previous license or ID until they obtain the permanent one, and this is stated on the bottom of the printout they receive. Under new administration, it was recognized that this temporary proof of license process is not defined in statute. The DMV believes this process to be beneficial to the residents of the state and wants to formalize the process in statute so that the citizens of New Hampshire, as well as law enforcement, understand how the temporary proof of license is intended to be used and accepted. And if you have any questions, the department is here that can probably answer them better than I can.
Thank you. Madam Chair, any questions? And I guess, Senator Ward, your little printout might not be illegal in statute, but hey, we won't go into that.
I was just telling Senator Waters that I just renewed my license online, and I was a little bit concerned about it's all the information on my old is that going to be on the new one. So I hung on to the old one, but everything is on it. And now I just heard you say every other 5 years.
Yeah.
So because Senator Waters was asking me, what about my vision test? So I guess the next time I'll have the vision test.
I'm going to defer to the
There we are.
department.
That's where we are.
Okay, good.
So, Director, now that you're here, do you want to testify, or Jen?
Yeah, we can come up together, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
We've got two
It's our
chairs,
pleasure to do that.
two for the price of one.
That's
here.
right.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. And Madam Chair, thank you for sponsoring this legislation for us. John Marasco, Director of the DMV, Jen Bailey, Administrator 3 at the DMV. And I'll turn it over to Jen to talk about the bill. I just want to say that this was one more step in the process of identifying processes at the DMV to make sure that we're doing everything by the letter of the law, and that, our processes are built in statute and rule. And so this is one that we identified that when you look at, proof of renewal, what does that mean? What does it mean to a New Hampshire state trooper, a Mass state trooper? Is it any different than writing that on the back of a napkin? And what we found through this process is that it wasn't etched in state law as it should be. And we want to elevate that document so that, it has legal bearing when you print it out and until you get your hard copy in the mail. But I'll turn it over to Administrator Bailey. Anything you want to add?
Not much more. Again, Senator Ricciardi did a great job introducing this bill. And similar to what Director Marasco said is what you're seeing, Senator Ward, that temporary you got online isn't anywhere. So it's not even in statute for us to be able to issue those besides issuing a temporary. And there's very limited information on there. So now we actually have in statute with this passing that you can use it in conjunction with your current or previous license. So you have something that backs up what you are printing off that internet renewal. And so we're open for any questions that you may have.
Is this going to increase the efficiency of the department? Or is it just to make it easy for the customer?
Just to make it more easier for the customer that you have something that's physically documenting that you did renew online and that is a valid credential along with your current
Okay.
or previous
Thank you.
credential.
Senator, if I could just add to that, it also, it protects the driver. It protects the driver because now you've got a piece of paper that you can hand to a law enforcement officer that's in the DMV database. And that piece of paper actually means something to the law enforcement officer when they run that information, as opposed to what is the proof of online renewal? What does that mean? Now the explanation would actually be on that printout.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any member of the public who didn't sign up who wants to testify? Seeing none, I will close the hearing on Senate Bill 581, and maybe you want to exec, Madam Chair.
I'd like a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. I'd like to move that we pass Senate Bill 581. May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
I'll move consent.
Second.
All those in favor of consent? Aye. And I will take this out, Sophie. Anything else before we get out of executive?
No.
Right. I make a motion to get out of our executive session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We do? Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't see that on the back.
What?
Wait, it's on the back. Another bill. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Is there a way to keep them on the front, all on one page?
That's all right.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay. All right. So we have to wait till 2:15. So I will go into recess
Oh, I see.
until 2:15.
I'm glad that you caught that because I was ready to give my binders hearing on Senate Bill 510 and give a big transportation committee welcome to Senator Benton.
Happy to be here. Save the best for last, right? Good morning, good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. For the record, I am Senator Donovan Fenton. I represent District 10. I am here to introduce Senate Bill 510. This bill would repeal the requirement for a retail motor vehicle dealer to submit a form notifying the DMV of a car sale to a Massachusetts resident. So essentially, this would allow the dealer to issue a temporary plate to that Massachusetts customer. Currently, every state in America, including Hawaii and Alaska, recognize New Hampshire's temporary plate. There is only one state that does not, and that is Massachusetts. One of their main reasonings was that they do not issue their own temporary plate. That changed in 2022 when they did in fact start issuing their own temporary plate, which New Hampshire recognizes. Massachusetts customer cannot leave New Hampshire with the car they bought until the dealer fills out a form for the Massachusetts Registry and the New Hampshire DMV. By issuing a temporary plate, this gives the seller time to get the proper insurance and documentation to the Massachusetts DMV, and the customer does not have to wait. The selling dealer still has to register the car for them in Massachusetts, so the paperwork is still being done. But this gives the customer the ability to have a template just like every other customer in America gets. And I'm happy to take any questions. And for the record, I am a car dealer. I do issue temporary plates. Thank you.
Microphone.
Director Marasho, you want to say anything about this one? I know you said you were speaking, but.
I do have written testimony. Committee. Mr. Vice Chair, members of the committee, John Marasco, Director of your DMV. I'd like to thank Senator Fenton for the courtesy that he gave to the DMV by calling over when he was going to sponsor this bill and to get our thoughts on it. And although I didn't sign in support of the bill per se today, because I'll leave that to elected officials, the written testimony highlights the fact that from a DMV standpoint, this bill benefits the DMV. So we still get the record of the vehicle sale the way that we do now with the three-part form that is sent into the DMV. It's the RDMV 938 Massachusetts residence form. So when a Massachusetts resident purchases a vehicle in New Hampshire, that form is filled out, comes to the DMV, we're aware of the sale, and we can keep the record of that. By issuing the temporary tag, the temporary registration, we're still going to get the record. So for the DMV, we have what we need, and that form is a three-part form that the DMV produces and recoups no money back on. So the dealerships purchase the temporary tags, the temporary registration, so the DMV is going to be in a favorable light when it comes to the financial side of it with the passage of this bill. So I want to thank you, Senator Fenton, for including us. I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions? All set.
Thank you, sir.
And Dan? Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Dan Bennett with the New Hampshire Auto Dealers Association. We're a trade group representing the motor vehicle industry, franchised and independent car, truck, motorcycle, snowmobile, and ATV dealers. I'm here today on behalf of our franchised and independent members that are in the retail selling of vehicle world. The current process when selling a vehicle to a Massachusetts resident is pretty burdensome on both the consumer but also the dealer. They need to either do the sale and then they have what they call a runner, where they send somebody actually to the nearest RMV in Massachusetts, register the car for the person, and then come back. So it's time consuming that way. Or it takes 2 visits. They do the deal, they go home, they get the vehicle registered at the RMV, and then they come back for a pickup. So it's a really burdensome process. For years, dealers have just kind of dealt with it. The DMV came up with a form so that they could track the vehicles, but the belief or the excuse was that the reason that Massachusetts didn't honor templates was because they don't have a template program. Well, as of last year, that's not true. In their state budget, they passed a law. They even did an amendment on the 31st of this year to fix some of the tweaks that allows Massachusetts dealers to issue temporary plates to out-of-state customers when they do vehicle sales. So this is a fair is fair, level playing field. If Mass car dealers can sell to New Hampshire consumers and give them a template, New Hampshire dealers should be able to sell to Mass customers and give them a template. What I also envision in this is really a voluntary NHADA initiative, which is I'm going to assume or commit to we're going to come up with some type of disclosure to be used with a sale to a Massachusetts resident that indicates we're giving you a template, but you, in accepting this template, acknowledge you're responsible for sales tax to the state of Massachusetts. You're responsible for proof of insurance, which Massachusetts has mandatory insurance, and you're going to be responsible for proper registration and titling in the vehicle. To both give to the customer, but also put in the deal jacket in that file of all the papers that you referred to. They'll have so that the transaction is clearly transparent, and that customer eyes wide open knows what they're getting into, accepting the Massachusetts plate. But then I'll just go back to an end with a statement that I mentioned earlier: is that this is just a fairness issue. Fair is fair. So thanks, and with that, I will answer any questions if there are any.
Any questions from the committee? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any member of the public who wishes to speak who did not sign up? Seeing none, I'll close the hearing on 5:10, and I'll take a motion to adjourn. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
We're done. Safe driving, everybody. Here you go, Soapy, for this one. I don't know if you did an extra copy for Senator Shardy, but there it is.